Welcome to the 2007 SCCA Runoffs, the newest national class in SCCA Touring 3, rocketed into the first turn last year. Pole sitter Rick Gilhart, the number 55 Mazda RX-8, held on to the lead, while others scrambled for position behind him. The number 92 of Stan Wilson had a great charge getting past Joe Liparini's MX-5, but he gave that position up with a broken brake line on lap 4. Rick Gilhart led flag to flag for the win, taking the inaugural Touring 3 National Championship at Topeka. In its short life, Touring 3 has become a great comparison between handling and horsepower. In the handling department, they're thinking the Mazda RX-8. It was last year for Rick Gilhart, the very talented driver, who put this car on pole and then took it to the gold medal. He's been doing a lot of shifter kart racing this year as well. To stay sharp, he's ready. Joe Liparini went with horsepower and the Honda S2000, but early in the week, an immense crash over in turn 2. He had an extra crew come in from Pennsylvania to rebuild the car. The first time he's going to turn a wheel in it will be when he starts the engine for the race. Watch out for this two-time medalist. And then Kevin Fendozzi, a great story. His first season of SCCA National Racing, and he's second in the Great Lakes Division with a win and 5 podiums. Keep an eye on this comer. 10-time Runoffs gold medalist John Heinrichsey, though, thinks the Chevy Cobalt is the car that could add to his gold medal streak here at Heartland Park, Topeka. He's had a great season in the Northeastern Division, 4 starts, 4 wins. Doesn't get much better than that. Now, Scott Shelton is an interesting story. In 2004, he ran his Mazda RX-8 in the T2 class. It wasn't on the pace, but they created T3, the car was magic, and last year he brought it home to a silver medal. This year, one more step on the podium. Hit the fast lap last year, the speed is there. And then you go back to the Honda S2000 of Bob Boileau. What a great story in the Rocky Mountain Division. 4 wins for this driver on the way, and this is a car that he thinks might be golden here at Topeka. For 43 years, the Sports Car Club of America has utilized the single race runoff format to determine its national champions. This year, after a full season of national class racing in SCCA's 9 divisions, over 650 entries have converged on Heartland Park, Topeka to determine 25 national champions. Today's race is in Touring 3. Hi everybody and welcome to the 2007 SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by AT&T here in Heartland Park, Topeka. I'm Greg Kramer, joined by Danny Banks in the booth, Sandy Heng, John Bizignano in pit lane. And folks, we have had some weather move in. It has been one of those timing is everything types of things. Beautiful weather during practice and qualifying, but rain and even more heavy weather has moved in, and it's presenting a concern. This was early this morning. Clearly the most spectacular lightning show I have ever seen, and it has cleared out, but there is always the possibility that this type of weather may move back in. It's going to be very interesting. And Danny Banks, wet on this track should be interesting as well.
Yeah, a couple guys have had practice in this weather, but the big story is going to be here in 1 and 2, new fast section. A lot of action in 3 and 5. Out onto the back straightaway into this new section is going to be a big deal. Going into turn 10 through 14 is going to be an autocross section, they call it, and it'll be very tight racing there.
All right, that is going to be a very, very interesting indeed. Now let's take a look at the category, the touring category, T3. You can see it. Tell us about it, Andy.
High-performance street cars, they can change the tires, they can change some of the suspension components, brake pads, but not a lot of changes, roll cages and things like that for safety. Pretty neat class.
All right, well, let's get down to the pit lane. A soggy one at that, and John Bizignano. Biz?
Well, Scotty B. White is one of the most experienced drivers in this entire field. He has the only Mustang, which is the heaviest car in the field. Now, in these wet conditions, that should be an advantage. Along with all the experience that he has, look for him going towards the top of the grid.
All right, Biz, there's a good look at Scotty, and it is going to be interesting to watch him here in that Chrysler Crossfire coming up through the pack. And when we come back here to Heartland Park, Topeka, we'll give you the starting lineup and get to the green flag. Welcome back to Heartland Park, Topeka, the Touring 3 category, now rolling off of the fall script. the pickup station behind the pace car. As you can see, those clouds looming, although the rain has abated, and we are going to be able to get this one underway. And this is an interesting mix of machinery, and that, of course, always presents some great racing. You've got rear drive for the most part here, certainly. But there are some interesting packages in here that I think could make this quite interesting, and everybody's got to deal with this weather. One has to think, Dan, that they would all be coming out on full wets at this point.
Yeah, you would think the tires would be full wets. The big story, I think, is going to be there's a couple of four-wheel drive cars here. It looks like 4 of them. I think that'll be a very big story.
All right, well, they come filing out. Let's get you to the starting lineup. And as you said, it's a nice sizable field, a great mix of equipment that are going to be coming up on the line. And the guy who is on the pole on the inside of the front row, that's to the left of your screen, the number 32, is a guy who came into this runoffs with 10 gold medals, and he's already won another one. John Heinrichsey in showroom stock C yesterday won a gold in that category. He now has 11. The question, of course, is it's a very different day. It was dry, now it's damp, different type of car. I don't know what he can take back and forth here.
Well, the cars are similar.
Right.
He can take some of that to him, but knowing where to run in the rain, he probably doesn't have any idea from yesterday's stuff. Maybe if he ran earlier in the week, there was a couple of dry sessions he might have ran in that.
And, of course, one of the issues they're going to have to deal with is visibility here. Is if you're not up in that front row and you don't get off clean, there's going to be a lot of wash coming up, and you're going to have to be dealing with that right in your face.
Yes, you are. Hopefully these guys, did the anti-fog and things like that on the windshields, and I'm sure they have defrosters and, the wipers are all good in these cars.
And a couple of places where they made changes to the track, that 1-2 complex, and over where they changed the 8-9 entry on that very fast chicane. That's relatively new changes, but there's been a lot of action here. In terms of getting through there with these speeds and not knowing what it's going to be like in the wet, should be interesting. Here is that starting lineup. You see Heinrichsey is on the pole. Just an amazing story. He's been putting together an 11th gold medal now. He is 3rd all-time in gold medals and looking to add more. The gentleman who is qualified for, Richard Gilhart, carries the 1. He's the defending champion, and he is running from the pole. So he had the pole last year, so he's back a little bit compared to where he normally is. But there's a couple of wily vets behind him. Wiley Timbrook, in particular, has an awful lot of experience. Joe Lipperini, I talked about at the top of the show, that huge wreck, and Danny was able to bring that car up after the rebuild and qualify in 10th. That's pretty spectacular.
That is. That car needed a lot of work. They had to put actually wheels back on it, really torn up, and looks like those guys did a great job.
Yep. That Wiley, by the way, has a gold medal in 1990, so he's been getting around tracks very effectively. And in the 22nd spot, and you're going to see when we get to the next page, is Mike Kramer, who in 2003 won the gold medal in the showroom stock C category class. So some guys with some great experience deep in the pack. Should be interesting watching them. And for more on perhaps some of these performances through the pack, let's check in with Sandy Hang.
Well, one of the fastest guys we haven't talked a lot about yet, and the reason why he's a newbie, it's his first time at the runoffs. He's car number 27, is Rob Huffmaster. He is nervous. This rain, he says, is not exactly what he wanted to see, but he feels good about being in the car. He qualified 3rd. He is a student, of all things, in college at Central Michigan State, and he is studying entrepreneurship. And I said, racing is a lot of fun. Maybe you should think about starting a business in racing. Anyway, he's qualified 3rd. Let's go to my colleague, John Bizignano. Biz?
Thanks, Sandy. Stay dry down here. Listen, you were talking about the all-wheel drive cars. Those are the Audis and the Subarus. But don't forget that the Cobalts up front, those are front-wheel drives. Now, they think they might have the perfect combination because with this particular weather and with their combination of their particular rain tires, they are not looking for any type of disadvantage by only having 2 wheels pulling that car around the track. We'll see.
And, of course, John Heinrichsey, the pole sitter, in one of those Cobalts. So I am sure that as that rain was coming down, maybe a little grin came across that face. He's awfully good.
He is awfully good, and he knows those cars really well. A lot of these guys run from the Midwest Division all over the country, and I'm sure they've run these cars in the rain, and they know what to do to them.
And what kind of advantage, in particular with the all-wheel drive scenario, exactly the format there, obviously it gives you grip, but if it dries out, can that start to run off the tires?
It can. The rear drive cars won't get as much heat in the rear tires, they'll just spin them, and the four-wheel drive cars will get heat in all the tires. So, and the front-wheel drive cars are somewhere in between.
All right, it's going to be interesting to see, especially if it goes from wet to dry as the race unfolds, and we'll find out right after this. And welcome back to Heartland Park, Topeka. Lights out on the pace car. We are looking forward to going green, and we have a little bit of a sprinkle now on a couple of the camera lenses, so this could be interesting. That might make it a little difficult to develop a dry line, but sometimes that's even more dicey when you're trying to make passes. Field coming through, and we'll get a look here at this front straight, and it is wet, especially coming out of that last turn. John Heinrichsey inside of the front row, going to bring him up. Chevy Cobalts to the green, and we are racing in turning 3 at Heartland Park, Topeka. And along the outside, Kevin Fandozzi staying right with him now. Heinrichsey eases ahead. Fandozzi tucks in behind as they come up over the rise down into turn number 1. Watch the rest of the field. There you see Lipperini, two-time gold medalist in showroom stock C, that Honda S2000, white with primarily sort of orange trim on the bottom. See what he can do coming up through the pack. Everybody right now, Dan, has to be pretty much in exploratory mode, except those two are giving it a little bit of rubbing.
Yeah, third and fourth, they're bumping into each other. Looks like he might get inside of him here. He's in there.
Oh, boy, that was a smart move by Dwight Fates in the 78. It's going to cost him a couple of spots, but at least it saved him contact, and it allowed Rick Gilhart, who is now 4th in that Mazda RX-8, silver with the blue nose. Third in your screen. Oh, and look at the aggression that we're seeing right now by the number 27 of Robert Huffmaster. That's the young man that Sandy was talking about at the top of the show. And this young student is really on display here early. He's going for it.
He is going for it. He looks like he's maybe done this before. He's using the wide line. The nice thing about in the rain is you can go all over the track. You probably don't want to be on the line because the oil and stuff from the other classes. And looks like he's exploring those areas.
Sitting in third right now behind Fandozzi, the yellow Cobalt in front of him. And there's Heinrichsey, who is already drawing away from the rest of the pack. There's Fandozzi, Huffmaster, then defending champion Gilhart right behind this red car of Huffmaster. Now, take a look here. Heading into turn number 5, Danny, a little bump and go.
Yeah, it looks like we've seen some action there in the past, and it looks like both of them got through, you know, not clean, but got through there.
I think the second contact straightened them out.
Yeah, it might have.
Here's that big move by Huffmaster. Right to the outside, trying to make it work on Fandozzi. It didn't, but now he knows he's got grip there, doesn't he?
He does know he has grip there. The problem is that is not the line that you want to do. You need to get out on that straightaway as clean as you can.
And this is the issue we were talking about, visibility. You're back in the pack. You've got that spray in your face, and even the windshield wipers when you're going this quick. This doesn't help enough sometimes as we continue to watch this battle. There's your 5th place car, and that's one of the all-wheel drive machines, and doing a nice job there. I think that's Holloway. So those are the cars that we've been kind of watching on just a little bit now, looking at the battle between 8th and 9th, Chad Gilsinger and Scott Shelton.
Yeah, Shelton, he looks like he's just doing a good job here, not being able to pull away any, but just staying on line and doing the best he can.
Gilsinger in the black 05. Shelton, look at that, almost going 3 abreast at this stage. Boy, it is. Oh, we've got a spin. Is that Fandozzi? 2nd place has looped it. So Fandozzi, and he was lucky not to get collected.
He was lucky not to get collected. It looks like, you know, he had been wide there earlier. I'm not sure that maybe he didn't get a little help. Well,
speculation perhaps at this stage, but nonetheless. And one of the other issues that you saw is now if you run off the track, you've got to deal with an awful lot of mud and the like. Let's see if we can catch it here. Just parked. He'd already lost it.
Yep. The drivers could see the yellow flag there just at the same time as they got there.
We get an update now from the pits that Fandozzi elected to start dry tires, thinking that this track might dry out and to have a run, which explains why he's struggling a little bit right now and why Heinrichsey is just checking out. Heinrichsey 3.5 seconds clear of the field, and that's going to grow now with Fandozzi out of the picture at this stage. So Heinrichsey putting on a bit of a clinic right now, but interesting that Fandozzi, I think that was an interesting call to try and do something. Here's this battle for 7th. 0-2 Wiley Timbrook, former gold medalist in that red S2000. And then this huge scrum behind him. Look at that, 2 abreast coming through the autocross here. Good look down the inside. Timbrook shut the door. But Shelton has gone around. He's managed to get around Gilsinger in that black S2000. Shelton is in that Mazda RX-8, and way off to the inside is Robert Boileau, who's trying to do something in his S2000. But you pull off line right now. and it's even a little bit wetter. A lot of spray in the face. Heinrichs continues to lead, and with the spin by Fandozzi, has opened it up big time.
This is the only Subaru Legacy racing here today in the T3 class, and the driver, Dwight Feitz, well, he's experienced here at the Runoffs, but not so much in this class. Dwight's been racing T2 and let's see, A sedan. How do you like the class?
I like the class. It's very competitive, and there's a lot of new cars, and yeah, it's a growing new class in SCCA.
Why do you think it's growing?
I think everybody's looking forward to running the turbo cars and the newer, smaller engines. They're in the class cars are fast and they're reliable.
It's a fun class, and Dwight's best finish here at the Runoffs is 11.
And there he is, and he's running 4th right now, a pretty solid run. And one of the concepts SCCA had as they created this class was it's a class that's, you know, sort of a similar place for the Speed World Challenge, the SCCA World Challenge touring cars. It's a similar category, the smaller compact cars that you can get out, but that make pretty good power and give them a place to race.
Yes, it does. These cars have decent power, I think around 200 horsepower, and you know, they look pretty evenly matched. I would have thought the four-wheel drive cars would have shown more at the moment.
Well, and I was going to ask you that question as we take a look at this race for 5th between Timbrook and Holloway. And no, excuse me, that's the 44 of Boilo, who's gone around Holloway and is coming after Timbrook right now and working outside, inside. This is the last turn onto the front straight. Boilo got a nice squared up entry, goes way down to the inside, but the exit speed of Timbrook, now they're going to go side by side down this front straight. Good close quarters racing, and you got to get this one solved by the time you get over by turn 1. And Boilo, he's going to drive right by him. Nice move.
Yeah, there might be some traction there. I saw a couple other cars trying that, coming onto the front straightaway, just staying to the left as far as they can.
Well, like you said, get off of the normal racing line where it's been rubbered in and greased up. It works in the dry, but in the wet it just becomes slick, and he used it to great advantage, so Boilo has made the move. But talking about the all-wheel drive cars and the like, is some of this just John Heinrichs and his ability as a race driver? And of course the front drive is not a bad package to have. These cars are the rear wheel drive, so it makes it a little bit tougher, but John's so good.
He is really good. He knows these cars. I'm sure he went with the wet weather tires, and with nobody in front of him, he's able to see his line, and he can pick and choose without having to race all these guys. And these guys are racing, so they got to block their lines. They got to, you know, make sure they don't leave the inside open for the guy to get in there. And
just slows up your laps.
It does slow up your lap. You just need the clean track, and he's just being able to pull away.
And Gilsinger trying to get back around Timbrook now. Gilsinger in the black S2000, Timbrook in the red one, and this is essentially now the battle for the 6th spot, and it is being held by Timbrook. But obviously they're still dealing with extremely slippery conditions. In fact, slippery enough that it has caught out a 2-time gold medalist. Here's Joe Lipperini having a bit of a moment.
Yeah, it looked like he got inside there, got pinched down, and just spun out there.
Check that, that's Costello. He was going, he and Lipperini were running side by side, and Lipperini had qualified 10th, has dropped to 17th. And Costello now obviously back even further. But this battle continues to rage. Best one on the track. Battle for 6th spot. Timbrook being hounded by the black S2000 of Gilsinger right now.
Looks like if Gilsinger can line up this thing, and they're both using the same line. Nobody's trying that inside line there. Maybe they haven't seen it.
Well, Gilsinger ran way, way wide on that one, and it cost him just a little bit of time. Behind them, you just saw the nose of there it is, the 34 of Dennis Holloway, who was running one of the Mazda RX-8s. And we've been, sort of wondering what's going on in terms of tires out there. Sandy, what's up?
We were digging around looking for Kevin Fandozzi's team to try to find out exactly what happened. None of those folks are in pit lane, but everyone else in pit lane that we talked to and was watching what was going on. At the last minute, I think they realized they didn't have the setup that they thought they did. They had 245s mounted instead of 225s. So yes, they were on a set of tires that they didn't think they were on. Whether that was an element of strategy or not, we really don't know. But yes, they did have a different tire setup.
Well, I know they know what tires they're on. You know, when just like our stuff, when we pick the rain tires or the dry tires or softs or hards, we know what we're on.
All right, and Heinrichs is on a mission. The SCCA Runoffs at Heartland Park, Topeka. The 44th running of this legendary event, but for only the second time, Touring 3 is determining a gold medal here at the Runoffs in the second year at Heartland Park, Topeka. And right now it is John Heinrichsey continuing to build his advantage, looking for perhaps a 12th gold medal. And if he does that, Dan, he will be one behind the guy who sits second all-time in gold medals, Dwayne Davis, who has 13. And he's got one more class he's going to be running. He could leave here today tied. Oh, and there's Fandozzi once again, who we know is trying to run it on those dries. Look at the front tires, Dan. There's just no grip. This is so waterlogged now off the track.
Yeah, it's been raining for so long. He's not going to get going here. With those tires with no, grippers, basically they shave these tires down to almost nothing. And I'm sure Heinrichsey's got full depth street tires. He's just paying the price for it here.
Well, it was a gutsy move, but as you can see, there's now more rain on some of the camera lenses. It is starting to come down a little bit, which is exactly the opposite of what Fandozzi was hoping would happen. And he is just sitting off track now, just struggling to get even back onto the course as Heinrichsey has built his margin up to just a little over 10 seconds right now over the very impressive young driver, Huffmaster.
Huffmaster's having a great run today, being a young driver and racing against some of these veterans. It'd be nice if he could actually see Heinrichsey to follow his line and learn something here, but Heinrichsey's just checking out a little bit.
Yeah, his first run-up for Huffmaster. Now we're going back to this battle here. You see Joel Lipperini in the number 81, who is trying to work his way up through the pack. John Costello, who had that spin right behind him. They're erstwhile teammates, as you can tell by the paint schemes on the cars right now. And behind them is I believe that's the 17 of Brent Ostendorf. So having a very solid run. This is back in the pack just a little bit for 17th. And not a place that you normally find Joel Lipperini. As I said, a two-time medalist, but that huge crash early, I don't think the car's ever been quite right. And then a rear drive in the wet, just all kinds of things have gone wrong for Joel here this weekend.
I'm sure he just doesn't like this weather. I'm sure that the car was okay. It'd have to be really bad to be this far off. I think he's just not happy with the weather, and it's not putting the power down like some of the other cars, and now he's just being hounded here.
Yeah, that Brent Ostendorf, that is a Mazda Miata, and they are a little bit underpowered in this class these days, but in these wet conditions, even though that's rear drive, the balance of the Miata is so spectacular. You can see Ostendorf doing a brilliant job on Lipperini and almost goes around, and there goes 82 Costello, just sneaks on through. One little mistake like that, a spot is given up, and now Ostendorf all over the back of Lipperini.
I'm sure that Lipperini's got dry tires on, because there's no way you could lose it on going out on the back straightaway like that, and they're both just sliding all over the place.
Scotty B. White's in this picture as well, just in the back. Oh, the 84 of Fandozzi got back on track, and boy, is he coming up. Of course, that's the front drive element, even though it's rear, or he's running dry tires, that front drive is still mighty effective, and he's able to run through. But also a great drive right now by Scotty B. White, who John Bizignano mentioned has switched to a Mustang. Had a problem apparently in his Chrysler and is elected to start a Mustang and is doing a pretty good job right now. But Fandozzi has got an awful lot of work to do. But if the rain does let up just a little bit, and see if those dries play out the way he was hoping at this point. But for John Heinrichsey, the margin now almost 14 seconds, about a second and a half a lap. Heinrichsey is running away with this one with defending champion Gilhart in third. Welcome back, Heartland Park, Topeka, Touring 3, and here's what's happened thus far. At the start, John Heinrichsey got a little bit of pressure from Kevin Fandozzi, the yellow car on the right, Heinrichsey on the pole on the left in the Cobalts. Fandozzi starting on dry weather tires, if you will, and just didn't quite have it, and as a result, had this big spin, lucky not to get collected as the field comes streaming up on him. Then the number 82 goes around, John Costello, trying to race his teammate there, Joel Lipperini. He was able to gather it up and continue, but a big spin as well by the 02 of Wiley Timbrook, who had been running in the top 5, has now slipped back to 9th as a result. And you can see it is the track is wet, but certainly you get off line or off track, there's puddles, there's mud, huge mud holes, and of course the grass is very, very wet And so being on the track is dicey enough. Getting off it, way worse.
It is way worse if you get off the track. We saw a couple cars getting stuck here, but Heinrich is just on rails here. It looks like he's able to run his line and just pulling away.
Well, and we talked about it too, even though he is now starting to catch some traffic, for the most part, he's had the best visibility out there, and he hasn't been in a dice where he's driving off lines. He's been able to find where it works, and it's working very well at this stage. And speaking of working well, Robert Huffmaster is having a great race. Biz, oh, big bobble though. Gathered it up heading into turn 5. It was a huge save. Biz, this young man is pushing.
Well, I'll tell you, Kevin Johnsky is the crew chief for that number 27 car. What's he saying to you?
So far the car's, it's a little slick out there, but
A little slick out there, okay.
obviously. But I carry more speed in the corners than you think.
Is the line drying out at all? We can see it on the straightaway. It's not as much spray, nearly as much as it was a few laps ago.
Correct. The rain has subsided, so there's a little bit of a dry line, but it's still a little slick, so we'll see.
All right, he's a happy man. Hey guys, you were talking about Liparini's tires. He's on full wets.
Oh, wow. So that car is just absolutely a handful then. And you watch Huffmaster here. This kid is just throwing it around. You had that big moment and you'd think, oh, I'm going to check up and really back off and slow down. He did in the next couple of corners. He was just pitching it in there.
Yes, he was. He was slip sliding away. It looks like when he's been doing that, here comes Gilhart. And you don't want to give him any opportunity to get a silver medal.
No, not at all. He's got to be a little bit frustrated being the defending champ. Here's the moment we were talking about. Watch him. Here's the number 27, a Huffmaster, coming up out of 4 into 5. Looked like he got his rear on that curbing, Danny.
He did get it up on the curb. Maybe it shook the rear tires, but got him sideways nevertheless. And then he did the same thing in the next corner, and that allowed Gilhart to catch up to him a little bit.
Yeah, came up into the next turn, pitched it in, and it crossed up again. So now, though, they're working some traffic. He gets a little bit of a break as they put a car. He puts a car in between he and Gilhart. Right now, keep in mind, Huffmaster in a silver medal position in his first ever runoffs. That's impressive. That's very impressive.
Yes, it is. You know, these guys race all year long, and to get a chance to get a silver or a gold or a bronze medal is a big, big deal.
Absolutely. And, boy, as you said, if only you could run a couple of laps close behind Heinrich here to be able to watch those lines, because what he's doing is just stunning right now. And Heinrich is just putting on a clinic, Sandy.
Well, I'm with Joe Aquilante. They just got the news about the black flag. What do you make of it and why?
Well, obviously we're too loud and the rule is 103, so we have to follow the rules. We got a black flag, we got to come in.
For a stop and go?
I don't know, whatever the chiefs
Just a ride through.
Whatever they want to do.
And they haven't notified you yet exactly what that's going to be.
Well, they told us to bring him in, so we're bringing him in.
Okay, we don't know if it's a ride through or a stop and go, but he's about to come in, guys.
Well, one of the things that they do have in SCCA competition is it is a noise violation. It's called sound control, and there is a decibel limit, isn't there?
There is a decibel limit, and I think it is 103 like he mentioned. What happens here is when it does get cool, the sound transfers a lot faster, and we've had that happen in the past. Usually what we do is take a regular old hammer and smash the tailpipe over and just deflect the noise in a different direction. You might want to tell them that.
Yeah, well, when he's coming in here, we'll see what they do. Heinrich is coming in. We'll see whether, as Sandy said, it hasn't been made real clear whether it's a stop and go or just a drive-through. We'll see what happens here. But he came in with a 15-second lead. But you got to remember, you slow through the pit entrance, through the pit lane, then back out. And looks like it is going to be a stop of some sort. Oh, it's going to be a stop and chat on top of it. So, Robert Huffmaster in his first ever runoffs right there officially picks up the lead. And the young rookie on his way to a gold in his first ever runoffs appearance. Amazing. Defending champ Rick Gilhart now slots into the second spot. And Bob Boileau in that number 44 S2000 finds himself perhaps in a bronze medal. When Heinrich comes out, we'll see if he's got anything for it.
This is Mike Kramer's 17th year of racing, but it all got started because of a very well-known driver and broadcaster, Boris Said. How did that all get started, Mike?
Yeah, John, I met Boris in 1988, 1989 time frame when we were working on the Corvette Challenge. After that season was over, Boris invited me out to his house and said, "Hey, listen, I want you to drive my race car." It was a showroom stock GT Camaro. I won my first race at Pocono, and I've had the bug ever since.
Well, let me ask you, back then was Boris just as, let's say, special as he is now?
I'd say Boris is one of the more unique individuals you see in motorsports. He's a great friend. He's my hero, and I'd like to say, I'm probably one of the original set heads.
Set Head Motorsports, that's pretty cool. Mike Kramer right now running in the 17th spot. Keep in mind, he is a former gold medalist. He won the Showroom Stock C gold medal in a Saturn in 2003 at Mid-Ohio. Very talented driver, but obviously it's not going quite right for him here. This is Scotty B. White. We're looking at the Mustang that Scotty is running here. And Scotty has just been staying in it here, running in 19th at this point. And as we said, he had entered in a Chrysler Crossfire and obviously had some problems and must have just found this ride because it surprised everybody when he showed up in the Mustang, and he's just hanging in there. He's a former winner in Speed GT, so this guy's got the chops.
Yeah, he knows what to do. I'm sure he's not happy with this car in the wet weather.
Yeah.
He was hoping for dry, long straightaways, and he could have made some ground, but now he's slip sliding away with this Mustang rear drive car.
Yeah, won in a Corvette at Vancouver in 1999 in Speed World Challenge. Has been running a Viper in select races with his teammate Cindy Lux in World Challenge again this year, and of course also runs a Viper in T1 in the SCCA competition. So Scotty B. White does a lot. He's busy all the time without doubt. Here, though, maybe the story of the weekend so far, the young rookie, Bobby Huffmeister. All right, Robert, I like the Bobby thing. I think that's being a young man and a rookie, but doing an absolutely tremendous job. And when you're out running in similar equipment, the defending gold medalist who's behind him there, that is pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive, being this young and having this kind of experience. But Gilhart is catching them a little bit at a time, tenth and a half at a lap. Getting down to the end here, 4.5 minutes left. It's going to be a heck of a race.
And by the way, we get the report, John Heinrichsey has been disqualified for sound violations, and they are done. Ooh, Huffmeister throwing it around, hanging in, doing everything he can to try and fend off the defending national champ. And you can see Gilhart pushing as hard as he can as well, throwing that RX-8 around, trying to figure out a way by this impressive young driver. The gold medal for Touring 3 at the 2007 SCCA National Championship Runoffs is drawing to a close. And right now, the number 27 of Robert Huffmeister is the guy who's got the position. The Huffmeister Crisis Response Mazda RX-8. But there's no doubt that Rick Gilhart, the defending champ in the Mother's Polish RX-8, I think he's closing it up a little bit, Dan.
He is pulling it in. I think the traffic's going to play a part here in a little bit. You can still see there's a lot of water on the track. Huffmeister just has to be really careful here, try not to put any tires wrong.
Okay, and watching Huffmeister, Gilhart is there, but both of them are really throwing it around at this stage.
It looked like Gilhart's able to pull up a little bit in all the slow corners here. We'll see what happens through the fast stuff and then into turn 9. Gilhart's been driving a lot longer than Huffmeister.
All right, well, we'll see if Huffmeister can hang on. Meanwhile, Sandy Hang, what's John Heinrichsey saying about the DQ?
Well, I'm with John Heinrichsey right now. Gosh, what a tough deal.
Yeah, it is. Rules are rules, and so I guess maybe we should have been looking at our sound readings earlier in the week, but I thought we did and didn't have any issues earlier in the week, and there's no difference here other than maybe it's windy or something like that. I don't know what's different, but
it's a tough break.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we had everything going for us. The car was great, even in the wet. The car was really good, so we had all that going for us, but I guess there's one thing we didn't have.
Okay, tough break for John Heinrichsey.
It is indeed. Meanwhile, for the gold medal, Gilhart has caught Huffmeister and even showed the nose in a couple of spots here. Out of the final turn onto the front straight. This should be just 2 laps about to go. No, Gilhart ran way wide, got it all crossed up, and that gave Huffmeister the 3, 4, 5 car lengths that might spell the difference here. But Danny, I got to ask you on the Heinrichsey deal, if you're compliant in terms of the sound all weekend long, and then you suddenly get a huge weather change like this. That's harsh.
Yes, it is harsh. We've had that happen in the past, and you just got to be on top of it and have a game plan for if you're close, and you have to change something so you're not so close.
All right. Meanwhile, you just saw a shot of Huffmaster's crew. Boy, they are as anxious as this young driver is. It'll be a tremendous story, but the problem is he's got Gilhart coming. And, okay, we are on the final lap. It is the final lap. The timing decided it is going to, well, it's about right. They're running laps just a little over 2 minutes. So this is it, folks. It is all up to the young driver in that red Mazda RX-8 to fend off the guy who's the defending champion in the class. Very experienced driver in Rick Gilhart. It's on. Oh, Gilhart looks down the inside. Bang, bang, couple of bits of contact. And Huffmeister, he did leave the door open, and when the contact happened, Gilhart was alongside.
Yeah, that was side-by-side racing. Nothing too crazy there. You know, he was probably not super happy, but he left the door open, and there he went.
So now, can Hoffmeister do anything about it? Let's go back very quickly and take a look at it. And he was a late move, Dan.
Yeah, it was a late move, but he left the door open, and you can't do it. You can't leave that kind of room, not on the last lap.
Well, there's the lesson for the young driver. Obviously an incredible talent, but he is coming back. Oh, did he get around him like Gilhart was parked? What a move by Huffmaster. Maybe that lit the fire just a little bit. Now, just don't throw it away. Gilhart's the one who gets sideways. That cost him a couple more tenths. And sideways again goes Gilhart. Huffmeister just easing away. What a move. Gilhart throwing it around everything he can. But the young rookie, talk about not losing your composure, didn't get flustered, laid a pass on that was stunning. And one of the great stories of this year's runoffs, the rookie, first runoffs, the crew going nuts. You can only imagine what Huffmeister is doing in the car right now. He's got to be screaming into that helmet. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they spend all week here and probably hope for a top 5. And now they're the gold medalists. You know, Gilhart's going to be upset. It looks like he messed up in turn 9 there, maybe got on the grass and paid the price.
And here's Wiley Timbrook, great battle going on here. And on the last lap, he got around Gilsinger. Gilsinger was 5th last lap, and Wiley Timbrook was able to sneak by him. And the 21 spins behind, gets out of the way, and Timbrook comes through with a top 5 finish over Gilsinger. And by the way, Dwight Fates did hang on for 3rd. And Biz, I'll tell you what, this crew has got to be as ecstatic as this young rookie is.
Kevin, you look very happy, but the man in the car has to be ecstatic.
He's excited.
What's he saying to you?
Oh, he's doing great. He's a fantastic driver. The team worked hard all year long for this race. It's a once-a-year race, and
you know, for a rookie here, he wasn't acting like it. I mean, he got passed on the last lap and passed him back.
Yep, exactly. I'll tell you, the car's handling great. Mazda Speed's doing a great job for us. Hoosier Tires, our main sponsor, they just handle us really good, and Rob's just, he's living on Cloud 9 right now.
Congratulations. Hey, guys, I don't know if it's the wind or what, but he's got a tear coming out of one eye down here, guys.
I can imagine he does. And Danny, we just saw the replay, and it looked like Gilhart just lost it coming out of 9.
Yes, he did. He just got rear spin, and that was all it took. And Huffmaster shot by him.
He pounced. It's that simple, and he brings home a gold medal first time out. Welcome back to Heartland Park, Topeka, where the Touring 3 race run in wet conditions proved to be a stunner. And perhaps the most stunning is the young man with the gold medal. Biz?
Well, Rob's getting out of his car. I'll tell you, this young man's so excited. It's great to see that emotion. Rob, we got to ask you, mate. First of all, you inherited the lead. That had to make you happy. But then the second place man came by on the last lap. What were you thinking?
Well, we had to get back to 3rd, and then once Heinersee went off, all of a sudden he started closing on me, and I was just like, oh man, it ain't gonna be easy. And then on the last lap, he passed me. And then I don't know what happened. He must have had a transmission problem. He made a misshift, and I just flew right back by.
But you left the door open for him a little bit when he got by.
Well, there's a little damage on here. I didn't leave it too open, you know.
All right, and then how did you get by him? You said he missed a shift, but the car just slowed down?
Oh, buddy! Yeah, we came through 8, and out of 8, he went to shift to 4th. I think he missed it. And it ruined his whole run, and he tried to block, and I just went right under him.
Mazda did a heck of a job for you.
Yeah, I got to thank Mazda Speed. They were great all week. They got us a bunch of parts for the car. Got us
One
ready
last
for this.
question. Where are you guys celebrating tonight? Because I want to be at this party.
It's going to be somewhere in this vicinity.
Congratulations.
I got to thank Hoosier, too. They're the best tire by far. Thank you.
Sandy Hang.
I'm with Richard Gilhart right now, silver medalist. What an incredible run, and can't help but thinking that last lap was worth it all.
We were flat out 100% from the middle of the race on, and actually got ahead in the back, had the lead going down the back straight, nice little comfortable lead. Went to go back into fourth as I usually do, and it just didn't go back into fourth the same way I did the lap before.
Okay, wait a minute. Tell me about this down here, a little body damage.
Oh, that's going into turn 6. I was on the inside, and the other Mazda RX-8 was on the outside, and I dove in, so he hit me towards the back of the car.
Now, you got to tell me about the repass. Pass, you got him, then he passed you back. What were you thinking? What was going on?
It was just a simple pull it back third to fourth after it got through the chicane, and when I went back, I went grabbed it forward, grabbed it back, no gear at all. Trying fifth, nothing home. But
no gear?
No gear.
So, you couldn't get her to...
Nope, ended up getting into third and then driving it back down. So that's why we were kind of spinning a little loose at the end.
Well, you got to take it.
I know. You know, it was a great run, and our crew is so good with Mazda speed.
And you did a great job, and you can't help but think that in the rain it turned out just fine. That's Richard Gilhart, your silver medalist.
Well, that look said it all when he kind of just looked and went, oh, man, it was that close. Now, as he said, that sure explains those last few corners, why he was sideways everywhere. He's running the wrong gear, just trying to bring it home. And Dwight Fates brings home the bronze medal. Boylo, the fastest of the S2000 cars, did a nice job. Wiley Timbrook, Gilsinger as well. And then the rest of the field down to the top 10. But I'll tell you what, this young man, what an impressive drive.
It was very impressive. He just kept his cool, got past, and said, you know, I only have one chance, and the guy made a mistake. Couldn't get it into fourth gear. I'm not sure what the deal is there. You know, sometimes if you shift them too fast, it grinds them, and they don't want to go in. So he might have been rushing the gear, and it didn't go. So, and the young guy just gets by, and pretty exciting.
Makes it work. Let's go down to biz with our bronze medalist.
Dwight Feist. This says Feist, you are feisty, man. I tell you, you had a good qualifying position, but this car doesn't have a single dent in it. How did you stay out of trouble?
Oh, we just got lucky in a couple of spots. Track was pretty slick at the start, and then it started drying out, and everybody picked up the pace. It was a fun drive. Good time.
Listen, you look like you're having a lot of fun. Congratulations on the bronze medal.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, back to you in that nice, warm, dry booth.
Yeah, but you guys doing a great job down in pit lane, so it's best we have you down there without question. By the way, I got to give a shout-out to Don Istuk. He won a gold medal in D production, or a silver medal in D production in 1981. Comes back here, he qualifies 24th. The Audi TT brings it home in 11th. Great to have him back, and coming up through the pack. Just a great run. Danny, this one was an interesting one. This track wet, though. Looks mighty fun.
Yes, it does. All these guys slip sliding away. I wish I was out there.
It was a good time, no doubt. So, we have a champion in Touring 3. It was a great race, and we're glad that you were able to be a part of it here as we bring you all the action from the 2007 runoffs right here on Speed. There's a look at Don all crossed up in the Audi on his way up through the pack. For Danny Banks, for John Bizignano and Sandy Hang, I'm Greg Kramer. Thanks so much for joining us here at Heartland Park, Topeka. And to Robert Huffmaster, congratulations. What a future he's got.